Okay, let's dive into something that, honestly, is crucial for every single one of us: advanced directives. Sounds a little formal, right? But really, it's all about making sure your voice is heard, even when you can't speak for yourself. We're going to break down how you can take control and make sure your choices are honored no matter what.
So let me ask you this, and really think about it. If you were suddenly in a medical crisis, completely unable to communicate, who speaks for you? Who's making those life or death decisions? Because if you don't decide that ahead of time, well, someone else is going to have to.
The best way to really get what's at stake here is to see it play out in real life. So let's meet Evelyn and her family. They found themselves right in the middle of this exact kind of situation. And their story, well, it really shows just how important planning ahead can be.
All right, picture this. We're in a hospital room. 78-year-old Evelyn has just had a massive stroke, and she's unresponsive. Standing right there at her bedside are her two kids, Sarah and David, and they are about to face an incredibly difficult, emotional choice.
And the conflict? It happens almost instantly. Sarah shows up totally prepared, holding a folder with her mom's legal documents. But then David gets there, sees his mom, and he just reacts from a place of pure emotion. He insists, "We have to do everything possible." Look, they both love their mom, that's obvious, but they have completely different ideas about what should happen next.
So what now? Who's right? Well, the answer is actually right there in those papers Sarah brought. Let's dig in and decode these documents because they're going to tell us exactly what Evelyn herself wanted.
First up is something called a living will. Think of this as the what document. It's where you spell out what medical treatments you would or would not want if you're in, say, a terminal state. And Evelyn's, it was crystal clear. She wrote that she did not want to be on life support if there was no reasonable chance of recovery. It's literally her voice just on paper.
Okay, next we have the healthcare power of attorney, or POA for short. Now, if the living will is the what, this document is all about the who. This is where you name the person, your agent, who you trust to make medical decisions for you. And who did Evelyn pick? Her daughter, Sarah. This wasn't just checking a box. This was Evelyn appointing her champion, her advocate. Now, this is a super important point, so listen close. A living will, it only kicks in under very specific, often end-of-life, conditions that are spelled out in the document. But a healthcare POA, that can take effect the moment a doctor says you can't make your own decisions anymore. That could even be for a temporary situation. So it gives your chosen person the power to step in and speak for you a lot sooner. Okay, so let's just quickly recap with this table. You've got the living will, that's the what, your treatment wishes. Then the healthcare POA, that's the who, your decision maker. And you'll see this other one here, a post. Think of a post as a level up. It's not just a legal document, it's an actual medical order signed by your doctor. It's for people who are already seriously ill, and it gives immediate instructions to medical staff. Very different from a living will, which is more of a guide for future possibilities.
All right, now that we've got the lingo down, let's get back to that hospital room with Sarah and David. Because this is where you really see the power of having that chosen person, that proxy, in place. And here is the absolute key. Because of that healthcare POA, Sarah has the legal authority here. It's not just her opinion versus her brother's, no way. She is legally designated to be her mother's voice, and her job is to make sure her mom's wishes, the ones Evelyn already put in writing, are followed. So how do you pick your own agent? It's actually pretty straightforward. 3 steps. First, it all starts with trust. You gotta pick someone who just gets you and your values. Second, you have to communicate. I mean, really talk to them. Lay it all out. This is a huge responsibility you're giving them. And third, you have to formalize it. Get it down in writing, make it official so there's absolutely no room for confusion when it matters most. But wait, there was one more piece of paper in that folder, and honestly, this is the one that often causes the most heartache and confusion. We're talking about the DNR, the Do Not Resuscitate Order.
And when you hear David say, "do everything possible," you get it, right? It's coming from a place of pure love and, frankly, fear. His reaction is so common because it perfectly captures the anxiety so many people have about what a DNR really is. Okay, this is probably the most important myth we need to bust today. A DNR does not mean do not treat. It means one very specific thing: do not resuscitate. All it means is that if your heart or breathing stops, the medical team won't perform CPR. That's it. You still get all the other care, oxygen, pain meds, antibiotics, you name it, everything to keep you comfortable. It is not about giving up. It is about choosing to say no to one specific and often very traumatic procedure.
And that brings us to the resolution of this whole difficult situation. By honoring the DNR and the living will, and by listening to Sarah as the healthcare POA, the doctors aren't making a choice for Evelyn. They are simply following the choices Evelyn already made for herself. They're making sure her voice is the one that's heard.
Evelyn's story, wow. It really shows you the incredible power of planning ahead, doesn't it? So let's shift the focus now from her story directly to you. Because this is all about making sure your voice and your choice are the ones that matter.
So if you're going to remember just a few things from all this, let it be these. First, an advance directive is how you make sure your choices are respected. Simple as that. Your living will states your treatment preferences. That's the what. Your healthcare POA names your trusted person. That's the who. The most important part? You have to talk to your family and your agent about this stuff. And finally, put it all in writing. Make it official.
Look, at the end of the day, this isn't just about paperwork. It's about empowerment. It's about you taking control of your own story, your own life. So, I'll leave you with this question. You absolutely have a voice in your care. Are you ready to use it?